Hi, my name is Michael Mayali. I'm the president with Renovo and on the executive leadership team with the New You Cares Foundation. My team and I, alongside Reps Ahead, this exceptional group of athletes and an even more exceptional group of professionals behind the scenes bringing it all together, would like to say thank you to you for being a part of this Reps Ahead Pro event with us today. Earlier this year, we came together to collaborate in creating a platform that was both engaging and relevant and allow us to further our mission of providing free or subsidized access to nutrition, fitness, and healthcare services to veterans and members of other exceptional communities all across the United States. If you'd like to learn more about our foundation, visit www.newyoucares.org. And if you'd like to contribute in allowing us to provide these services to veterans, text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, I know that we could not be more excited and grateful that we get to bring this to you today. We hope it's engaging, exciting, and that we get to see you at one of the various fundraising events that we have planned for the months to come.
I'm the director of Preshow. Thank you all for coming here today. A lot of you, I think even Alexis didn't know what Preshow was until 2 hours before the event. So I'm going to explain all that. It's super simple, super fun. at the end of 2020, I was in bed for 5 months, 23 hours a day, with a blood clot in my left jugular vein. It's a really long story, and I'm not going to take you guys through all of that, but basically blood couldn't drain out of the left side of my brain. And so I laid in bed, I lost 50 pounds in less than a month. I have 2 daughters and my wife who are watching, and I'm just really grateful that I'm here to do this and that I'm drawing breath. It's a very emotional story. I hope to share with you guys more on a personal level, because we don't got time for that today, but I'm just grateful you're all here to watch something that's really fun. Also want to thank Michael Mayali and Renovo. Michael was generous enough and willing to invest in this format because it's really, really special. We met at one of my invitationals in Colorado, because we've been doing this for about a year. We're not even a year official. And Michael was actually at 2 of my events, and we met just really offhand. And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. This is amazing." So the other thing is, Michael owns the new You Cares Foundation. So if you look around, there's some 11 by 17s. You can see, you can do like Where's Waldo with those. If you want to donate to veterans today, I highly encourage you to do so. Michael couldn't be here because they're opening 3 18,000 square foot facilities in Broomfield, Colorado. He owns 4 CrossFit gyms, and he owns medical clinics. And what's really cool, and I'm super honored to do this, is like I'm hosting these events, and it's going to help donation for veterans. Like what's cooler than like developing a format and getting to do that? So if you find it in your heart to donate, please do so. Those veterans will receive free CrossFit training, free personal training, free nutrition coaching, and it's all free through his 501c. It's going to be amazing. Also want to thank everybody from Colorado, all the coaches who are watching this today, all the athletes. If you go back and look, we've been doing this for a while, and like, I was literally going into gyms like, "Hey guys, you want to join my little secret society and try reps ahead?" And I told them about it, and they're like, "Yes, we'll do this." And so they really propel all this. It's the community, it's you guys that have been rallying around this. Once you see it, that's made it so special. So thank you to all of you guys. So reps ahead. What is reps ahead? Well, 2 athletes repeat a sequence of movements over and over and over again until somebody gets a set number of reps ahead. So if you think about that, it's simple. There's really nothing to it. But it's knockout process, essentially, knockout fitness. Okay, it's amazing to watch for the fans, not so much for the athletes because they're going to be grinding out and suffering. I'm really going to enjoy watching that suffering, but there's just something about it. Matches are just, they're stories all by themselves, and you don't go home and like repeat a workout. You're in the match, in the moment. James has to look at Dallin and say, "Hey, Dallin, good luck, bro." Of course, Dallin's gonna be like, "No, good luck to you, bro," right? And they have to knock each other out. There's no going back and like getting more reps than Dallin did if he wins. It's over when it's over. So thank you to the athletes for doing this, because they're fully exposed. You see all their reps. They're in the ring, and these guys are courageous for doing this. Because we all like to be in the gym in the corner hitting PRs and posting. These guys are out in front of us, and they're putting it all on the line. So without further ado, I am now going to introduce our athletes. I'll do it by cards, guys. So if you guys can come out 2 at a time, that'd be awesome. Starting with Lee and Alex Richard. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, they are our first undercard match. They are the tallest match in reps ahead history. Okay? All right. In our next match, we have Malachi, Bennett, and Ryley, Humrighouse. These guys are from the Colorado region. They're some of the best in the business. Super excited to watch them throw down, because I fanboy them back home. Like, I go to their gyms and watch them work out. They're amazing. They're studs, just like Alex and Lee. In our first main card match, we have Alexis, Raptis, and Saghafi. Some of the best in the business right here. I'm almost more excited for the ladies match, just being honest. Like, it's going to be crazy. But I am also excited for these 2 studs, and really for James for kind of starting all this and saying, "Yes, Bill, I'm going to do this crazy reps ahead thing. I'll do it." He raised his hands. If you know James, like, he's just that kind of guy. Like, he's going to jump in, whether he knows what he's doing or not. So without further ado, we have James Sprague and Dallin Pepper. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, these are our athletes. Now if we could please pause for the playing of the national anthem. Flags over here. I guess this would be to the north. You can head back to the warm-up area, except for Ryley. I'm going to use you as our model again, if that's okay. Hey, James, can you roll a 110-pound barbell out for Ryley to demo? I'm going to save your reps on 165, okay? All right, so we're going to go through the sequence here. I'm going to show the audience exactly what we're going to do. And Paul, if you can just work the score counter, show people how that works once Ryley gets started. So they're doing a sequence of movements, and they're doing it over and over and over again, right? So they get 40 reps ahead. So when you see the score, a green 40 reps ahead, there's going to be a little grace period, because I want to make sure that they're done with their reps. And then I'm going to blow this whistle, and it's going to blow out my ears, okay? But when you see that 40, that's when you know it's getting close. So like, let's say that Ryley's at 38, right? He's got 2 more reps to knock Malachi out. So that's kind of like the moment where it's getting close, okay? So Ryley's going to demo 8 double unders. He's going to do 36 during the workout, but he's going to show us what double unders look like here.
Woo!
Yeah, he looks smooth, doesn't he? Okay, but relax. He just wants to keep going. These guys like to work out. So you can see his score is going up the whole time. And what happens is, because he's going by himself, the green is for Ryley, because he's on this side. If James or someone else is competing against him, when their score goes up, it subtracts. So you can see what rep they're on and how far they are in the reps ahead. Okay, it's really simple. So you finish 36 double unders, and then he's going to move over to the barbell, where he's going to perform, for us, 2 hip squat things. Okay, but he does 6 during the workout. All right, very nice. So you can see he did 2 good reps. So you can track the athletes all the way through, what their scores are relative to each other, and once it hits that 40 reps ahead, it's over. So now, Ryley's going to head to the ring, and he's going to perform 2 bar muscle ups. And they will do 6 of those during the workout. Yep, nice and smooth. These guys are all basically professionals. That's what it looks like. So they do that sequence over and over and over until somebody is 40 reps ahead. It's pretty simple. Okay, thank you, Ryley. All right, we're going to give the athletes about 10 minutes here to move the weights around, get staged, and we're going to have our first matchup with Lee and Alex in about 10 minutes. Oh, guys, the crowd is like the most important things for the athletes. So like this half for Ryley and Malachi, this is Malachi's side. You guys want Malachi to win, even if you love Ryley, like just cheer for Malachi. The other half is for Ryley, okay? Everybody else, I think you know these guys, it'll get loud enough, but just make sure you're cheering them on, because like when they're about to get knocked out, they need to pick up that barbell, they need to feel you, and they can feel it, all right? All right, thanks guys.
Come on. I was just making sure that's what you planned. The only thing is we'll both get to the double together. The second set, we'll get there pretty much together. Maybe a couple second difference. I like it.
Better, Alexis.
You can just look fortunately for lots of programs that you do.
I didn't think about it.
That's why he has a name tag on.
To be fair, I'm the worst with names. No, so am I. Trust me. I'd be in the competition.
Coaching for a number of years. There's so many names I remember. I've been coaching 5, 6, 7 a.m. for the past like 5 months. And I still get something. And they've been coming in all the time.
Welcome inside CrossFit Tailwinds here in Jacksonville, Florida. My name is Brian Friend, and we're getting ready for the Reps Ahead Pro 2 Showcase. You guys got the opportunity to hear from Phil Thomas, the director of Reps Ahead, a few minutes ago as he introduced the concept for what this is, the athletes that we have competing in the 4 matches today, and then go through the sequence of movements that have been programmed for each of the matches to take on. The objective in this format, as he explained, is to get a specific number of reps ahead of your opponent. It's a little bit different than traditional CrossFit, but the movements will be very familiar. And as you saw, some of the athletes are very well known. All of these athletes are very good in their own regard. we'll get to know them as we go through each of the matches. If you want to know more about Reps Ahead, there was a podcast we did last night with Phil where we went into a little bit more depth about it that you guys can go and check out. And if you want to know more about what's kind of powering this thing, check out Renovo and New You Cares. Renovo is the primary sponsor for the competition, and New You Cares is a 501c nonprofit organization for veterans that Michael Mayali, who spoke at the beginning of this broadcast, has recently created as an opportunity to provide both free access for nutrition and fitness for veterans. If you're interested in participating and donating to that, we'll have some opportunities throughout the show. You can see the QR code there. The athletes have all contributed a portion of their earnings to New You Cares as well. But first match is starting in 4 minutes.
Okay, we gotta have some Alice fans too. Okay? Yeah, we can be like, yeah. You know, we do that for Alice. That's how we do.
Phil Thomas on the mic, interacting with the crowd here at CrossFit Tailwinds. We got two relatively local athletes on tap in the first matchup. Lee Pinkham will be on the left side of your screen. Alex Richard will be on the right side of your screen. And if you were here for the preview, you heard Phil say this is the tallest match in Reps Ahead history. Lee Pinkham listed at 6'1", Alex Richard listed at 6'5", which is about as one of the taller athletes I've ever seen compete in high-level competition. And not only are both these guys local to Florida, but they're good friends with each other. The two of them competed at Beach Brawl together in 2023. They were on a team along with another buddy of theirs who's in the stands here tonight at Wadapalooza in the intermediate division this past January. I think their best performance there came on the Echo Bike and Kettlebell Box Step Over workout. No surprise considering the height and relative power output of these guys. Lee Pinkham currently does live here in Jacksonville, trains at this affiliate, and he has a chiropractic service out of here as well. Alex Richard lives about an hour away in Daytona Beach and drove up for the competition. This was a late add to the Pro 2 showcase, but it should be a pretty good one. They have relatively similar skill sets. They both had decent performances in the Open this year. If anything, I would say Alex is probably going to have the advantage on the kind of speed standing up the squat from the bottom of it in the hang squat clean, and Lee seems to be extremely good with the bar muscle up. So we'll see. Ultimately, the double unders and the execution and efficiency there could be a huge factor, as there are 36 reps of double unders compared to only 6 reps on the hang squat clean and 6 reps on the bar muscle up. If you guys have any familiarity with Reps Ahead in the past, the sequence of movements and events that's programmed is traditionally in the monostructural weightlifting gymnastics vein to have a fairly well-balanced test. Last night, Phil spoke to us a lot about that priority he puts on athlete safety, but also the ability for the athletes to express themselves from a physical perspective. So you won't, at least at this point, you won't see anything super heavy in a Reps Ahead, because he wants the action to continue to move.
Let's give it up again for Lee Pinkham and Alex Richard.
We got 1 minute, less than 1 minute until the start of the first match. The format for this is going to be 2 minutes of working time, followed by 1 minute of rest. Should be very easy for you guys to follow along, as on the hat as well as in the background where the athletes are working out, we'll have a live scoring. The green number will indicate the athlete that's in the lead. The red number will indicate the athlete that's behind by the relative number of reps. And if they get to 40 reps ahead, the match will end. Otherwise, at the 2 minute mark, both athletes will stop where they are. You'll be able to see the score. And they'll have a 1 minute reset period before restarting with the double unders.
Let's go, boys. Let's put on a show.
And here we go. First match of Reps Ahead. Getting underway. Alex Richard on the right, Lee Pinkham on the left. The maximum number of rounds that we can have in this format is 7. And in this first interval, athletes are definitely going to just be kind of feeling each other out. You can watch for kind of the transitions to see the level of urgency. It is a hang squat clean, so they do have to stand that first rep up, deadlift it.
Alex is hanging in there. Both look nice and smooth.
And then obviously get below parallel in all of these hang squat cleans. We have some experienced judges that are on site.
All right,
They've been hired and paid to be here today.
6 bar muscle-ups.
So 36 double unders done, 6 hang squat cleans done, 6 bar muscle ups. You see on the left there that Lee just almost floating up above the bar, very efficient, does have a little bit of press out there which is required, whereas Alex receives lower in that dip position and has to press out. And as these rounds wear on, you're going to want to get to this second set of double unders faster. That's where you'll be able to pull ahead from your opponents. Now, despite Lee finishing up those muscle ups first, Alex's cadence on the double unders seems to be a little bit faster as he's gained a little bit of a lead here, a few reps with a couple seconds to go. Approaching 10 seconds to go in the first interval. Both athletes finishing 2 rounds in the first interval to have a 1-minute reset period.
Looks like this is going to be a great matchup. We got zeros on the board.
And I don't know if all these athletes are going to be able to hit 2 full rounds in each interval or not.
All right, about 30 seconds, athletes. 30 seconds. During the rest, they can adjust their strategy. They can think about how they want to approach the next round and get after that.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, athletes. 10 seconds.
Starting round number 2. Pinkham on the left, Richard on the right.
3,
2, 1, go. Round number 2 underway. Now, they ended on the exact same reps there, but regardless, they will always restart with the beginning of the sequence. So in this case, it's 36 double unders before advancing to the barbell and then back to the rig. And excuse me, I believe I said that they had finished 2 full rounds. They did not. They finished the squat cleans in round 2. They did not get to the muscle ups. Lee with a little bit of an issue picking up his rope at the start of the interval, but able to make up the difference. Richard getting caught up in his jump rope there is going to allow Lee to get a little bit of a start on the hang squat cleans, but going rep for rep here at the beginning of round number 2. Now let's take a look and see the urgency of getting to the pull-up bar, because ultimately you want to get back to that jump rope first. That's where you can pull away. These two guys know each other very well, and they jump up for the bar at the exact same time.
About 50 seconds left in round number 2. About 50 seconds
Lee,
left.
one muscle up faster there. Let's see if he can gain any advantage on the jump rope. Alex had to readjust his rope there, and it is going to be about a 5-rep lead for Lee to start the jump ropes, but Alex has been shown the ability to be 2 to 3 reps faster in the previous intervals of these. 30 seconds until the end of the round number 2. A trip there for Alex is going to allow Lee to open that gap a little. Another trip as Alex advances, but now really the only way he's going to get any reps is going to be on the barbell, because Alex able to finish up the double unders as well. And that mistake on the jump rope, if we see that in later rounds where they're not able to get back to these hang cleans, that's where we can start to see a little bit of a lead open up. As it is, through 2 rounds, Lee Pinkham with a 1-rep lead, where we see him bent over there, over the barbell, while Alex immediately walks back towards the jump rope. He's smiling over at Lee. 40 seconds in the rest interval here. And although the 1-rep lead for Lee, Alex seems to be very composed. Both athletes getting a little bit of chalk, catching their breath. 30 seconds to go. Round number 3. Maximum number of rounds is 7. And execution will be at a premium here, as we saw with the trips for Alex, especially as they get more fatigued and they aren't able to get as far into each second round of the sequence. That's where we can see a lead open up. And then double unders, with double unders in the mix, that's why you'll see the 40 reps ahead as the designated number to achieve, whereas in previous iterations it has been less. Round number 3 underway. Pinkham on the left, Richard on the right. Lee came into this interval with a 1 rep lead. Alex able to mitigate that with the double unders. When they finish up this round of double unders, Lee will once again have that 1 rep lead though. See it on the screen there behind you, +1 for Lee, but Alex first to get his hands on the bar. He did looks can be deceiving sometimes in CrossFit, but he did look a little fresher at the end of that interval despite being 1 round behind. But Alex dropping the barbell here, and when you're going head to head with one person and you're face to face on a barbell like that and you see your opponent drop the bar, a little bit of hope can start to settle in. So Lee still with the 1 rep lead, but he's glancing over at Alex, bends over on his knees, and he sees Alex get his hands on the pull-up bar. And once again, the cycle speed on the bar muscle-ups a little bit faster for Pinkham relative to Richard.
All right, he's still got the lead. He heads back to his jump rope.
Was in the second set of double unders last round where Alex had a few mistakes on the jump rope that allowed Lee to gain that slight advantage. You can see there on the right, Alex has the NBD Fitness shirt on. Both athletes follow NBD Fitness programming. Nick DeMarco, one of the 4 runners of that. And this time it's Lee with a little bit of mistake on the jump rope, and Alex as well. 10 seconds left in this third interval. Both of them finish up the jump rope. Lee coming into this interval with a 1 rep lead, so they'll be maintaining that. And with 2, 1, and no margin in the second round either. 1 rep for Lee through 3 rounds. So they've gotten to that barbell in each interval in the second sequence so far. But from finishing it in round 1 to being in the middle of it in round 2 to only getting 1 rep each in round 3, this is the round where, as the fatigue is accumulating, if one of these athletes is able to get to that barbell and the other's not, we can see the leads start to shift. Or with both athletes making a mistake in the double unders also in the second sequence there, and there could be an opportunity for one to perhaps finish those double unders in the second round of this interval or the other not to. 15 seconds until the start of round number 4. Again, this is the first of 4 matchups that we have today. 5 seconds.
3, 2, 1, and go.
Round 4 underway. Richard first to get the jump rope moving again. Pinkham did come into this interval with a 1 rep lead. They were tied on reps after the first interval, and Pinkham gained that 1 rep advantage in interval number 2, maintained it in interval 3, and now in the middle round here, if it does go the distance, round number 4, I think is the opportunity to potentially see a little bit of separation. Now, Alex had to break these hang squat cleans in the last round. With that squat clean before Lee gets his hands on the bar, they're now tied on reps, and now Richard with about a half rep lead. Let's see if he holds on for all 6 reps here or not. Nope, breaks at 4 again. Lee looks like he's gonna hang on for it. Nope, Lee breaks at 4, so they're tied on reps once again. Richard with the hands back on the bar. That'll tie the score for the entire match. And now he'll have about a 1 rep lead as they head to the bar. Alex first on the pull-up bar again. And he's flipped the script here. Now he has a 1 rep lead relative to Lee for the entirety of the match. Neither of them has had to break the bar muscle-ups yet in the match. They only have gotten to the muscle-ups 1 time in each interval. And now, with 32 seconds left to go, Alex heading to the jump rope, Lee a few reps behind him. This is where we have the opportunity to see that number start to increase. If any mistakes are made here, specifically for Lee, who's got a 6 or 7 rep deficit in these last 20 seconds, Alex can start to see a little bit of hope in terms of separation on the leaderboard. 10 seconds. No mistakes here yet, and now Alex makes this trip. No, Alex finishes, and he's going to race to the barbell. And with that rep, through 4 rounds, we have a dead heat once again.
All right. These guys are literally a perfect matchup. We got zeros on the board.
40 reps ahead is the
40 reps
number
ahead.
that they're chasing. Through 4 rounds, they've done the exact same number of reps.
Push that pace and dig deep.
40 seconds to go in this interval. Lee sitting down on the bench. Bench has been provided for both athletes in their respective corner of the ring, so to speak. For the first time, Alex still on his feet and getting his jump rope prepared. 20 seconds to the start of round number 5. There's a maximum of 7 rounds. If it does go 7 rounds, then it's whoever has the advantage at the end of that round. It's kind of a scenario the athletes are probably dreading the most, but after 4 rounds with no margin between them, it seems to be setting in as a reality for us and probably for them as well. 5th interval underway. Richard quick on the draw again with the jump rope. So you'll see that 1 rep lead flicker back and forth between them. They'll both end up getting to the barbell probably at the same time. Neither of them have made any mistakes on the jump rope in the first time they pick it up of any interval. There have been a couple the second time. Sneaky element of this sequence is the grip, of course. You have to hold the double under, the barbell, and obviously onto the pull-up bar for the bar muscle-up. No one has had to break the bar muscle-ups yet. We have seen calculated breaks on the hang squat cleans from Alex in the last 2 rounds and Lee for the first time in round number 4, which was the round prior to this one. Alex is getting out of the bottom of the squat a little bit faster as we expected, but once again, Lee seeing Alex drop the bar and choosing to hold on to it. Now, the last time he did this, he did not really take advantage of it by getting up on the muscle-ups before him. With the speed that he has shown on the muscle-ups, if he could do that and get to that jump rope first, that's the opportunity. But once again, it's Richard putting his hands on the bar that cues Lee to do the same, and both athletes jump up for the bar muscle-ups at the same time. 45 seconds to go in round number 5 of 7. And this time it's Lee who breaks the muscle-ups, and for Richard, he may for the first time see the opportunity that he wants to see. Gets off the bar quickly and immediately heads to the rope. 30 seconds to go, but a trip on his first double under. Watch that number tick up as Lee is struggling to pick up his rope, and he glances at the score behind him there. There is a TV in front of the athletes as well that shows the score, so they can always keep an eye on that. Now, 10 seconds to go. Really what Alex wants here is to be finishing his double unders as close to the time as you can, but it's not going to be that way. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and that trip at the end for Lee is going to yield a 5 rep advantage for Richard heading into the 6th interval.
I think these guys can go the distance. Let's give them a round of applause. They're killing it out here.
Decent crowd on site here at CrossFit Tailwinds in Jacksonville, Florida. A couple of the athletes we have here train at this facility, Dallin Pepper, who will be in the final match later today, Saghafi, who will be in the match prior to that, and Lee Pinkham, left side of the screen here in match number 1. The rest of the athletes have traveled in for this competition. 20 seconds to go in the rest interval here. We're heading into the 6th round. Alex Richard, right side of the floor with 5 rep lead over Lee Pinkham. Again, these guys are good friends, train with the same program, NBD Fitness, have competed on team competitions together at Beach Brawl and Wadapalooza. 5 seconds to go.
3, 2,
You know, neither of them wants to lose here. A maximum of 4 minutes of work remaining over the next 5 minutes. Richard has been quick with the double unders, but a mistake here is going to probably result in a narrowing once again on the leaderboard. And Lee with a mistake. Alex finishes. Lee also done. Richard on the barbell quick. He's opening up that lead a little bit more. 3 reps before Lee even gets his hands on the bar, give him an 8 rep advantage total, and now 9, but he breaks once again at the 2 rep mark. Lee has seen this happen in each of the last 3 rounds. He's broken himself on one of those 3 rounds. He breaks again here, and that's going to give Alex, once again, a little bit of advantage with 1 minute to go in round number 6. He's heading back to the pull-up bar. Hands on the bar pretty quick there for Alex, and you have to think that he smells a little bit of blood in the water here. 45 seconds to go. He's able to get off of the pull-up bar before Lee gets up there. This match does have the potential to end in this round. 1 rep to go on the muscle-ups. That's going to give him an 11-rep lead. And here we go. Double unders go quick. And that number on the right is going to start to tick up. We have 20 seconds to go in this round. Lee Pinkham is fighting for his life here in this matchup. 15 seconds to go. 25, 26, 27 now rep lead. Alex taking a break. Not sure how many reps he has left to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God. What? Is it 39 or is it 40? What's the... I think... Okay. Slight delay from the scorecard there, but in the 6th round, Alex Richard does get to the double under with enough time to finish all 36 reps, get it past that 40 rep mark, and Alex Richard is going to be the winner of the first undercard match here at Reps Ahead Pro 2 Showcase. We weren't sure if it was 39, 40, or 41. 41 gets the job done. Alex Richard takes match 1 against Lee Pinkham. That was a great example of what Reps Ahead is all about. It looked so close for so long, and then the opportunity was there, and Alex seized it. We are going to try to get him over here to talk to us at some point. Let me just check and see how he's doing real quick. I'm going to give Alex a minute to catch his breath. He's going to come and join me in the booth here when he can. In the meantime, the floor is going to be reset. We're going to have match number 2 coming up here. It's set to start at 11:40, which is only about a minute and 40 seconds from now. Malachi Bennett is the most veteran Reps Ahead athlete in the field. He has competed in 2 of these showcases previously. Ryley Humrighouse will be his opponent. Ryley Humrighouse actually first popped on my radar at Wadapalooza this past year. He placed second in the men's RX division, and he had an amazing finish, taking first place on both the first and second part of the Deja Vu workout, which was an interval-style workout that was full of pain. And then he also won a final, I believe, for their division that had culminated in dumbbell clusters. He was first or second in 6 out of 8 workouts in that division and ended up finishing second place overall. I've been following him on Instagram since and was excited to see him on the matchup card here. And we do have Alex Richard in the booth real quick. We're going to check in with him and just kind of see what that experience was like. Alex, have you ever done anything like that before?
Not a Reps Ahead format like that. Kind of a gladiator style, one-on-one, a different type of fight. Who wants to exercise harder than the other person? So no. I mean, I've done competitions, but nothing head-to-head with a crowd like this. Just an awesome event. I hope we get the chance to do another one of these because this is really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys were rep for rep basically through 4, maybe almost even 5 rounds. Did you think that this was going 7 rounds no matter what?
I thought we were going to go 7, and we kind of talked about it. I mean, Lee's actually the first guy that got me into CrossFit back in September 21. I was a gym bro meathead and walked into a CrossFit gym with my wife, and this guy Lee, who's a chiropractor, got his own business, the Movement Collective, super humble, came over. He knew I was apprehensive about CrossFit, and he pulled me in. And honestly, we've been doing competitions together, working out together for the last 3 years. So just super cool event. I knew, we're competitive. I knew our fitness levels were very similar. And when I saw the format, I did think we were going to go 7 rounds. That was in the back of my head. But Lee, he struggles in the squat cleans a little bit, so I figured if I could tire him out there, I might have a chance. But overall, really fun event.
But you started breaking up those squat cleans a little bit early, though. Was that a calculated move, or was that just necessary?
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't seem worth it. Even when we were warming up, I do like the squat clean, but going unbroken always isn't the move. Sometimes you pay for it with the jacked up heart rate. So trying to get more intelligent with my CrossFit workout strategy. I saw him getting a little tired, so I figured I'd try to go 4-2s and try to hang on the bar muscle ups, because obviously if you can get those done to get 40 reps ahead, you really got to do the work on the double unders. So goal was to break the squat cleans and try to hang on for the bar muscle ups.
All right, Alex Richard, winner of the first match here at Reps Ahead Pro 2. We got Malachi and Ryley on the floor. Alex, we're going to shift our attention to them, but congratulations, man. Thank you for joining us. And the first round of match number 2, Malachi Bennett and Ryley Humrighouse, has started. Malachi Bennett will be in the green t-shirt, at least to start, on the left side of the screen. Ryley Humrighouse, right side of the floor. They have the same format, the same sequence, the same weight on the barbell. It's 165 pounds for the men. 36 double unders done in about 20 seconds. Ryley gets his hands on the bar slightly before Malachi. Now, Malachi Bennett is an athlete that actually has quite an impressive resume in his own regard. He was the champion in the men's 30 to 34 division of Masters Fitness Championship last year. He took third place at the NorCal Classic behind Sean Sweeney and Tim Paulson, who I believe have 10 individual CrossFit Games appearances between them. And he's pretty much just a gamer. He lives in Casper, Wyoming. He's got a wife and kids. He's an incredibly humble guy, fun to hang out with, nice. But when you get him in a competition setting, he's a savage. Phil has had a chance to see him compete in 2 of these before, and he said he's just the type of guy you don't want to go into the ring with. However, Ryley Humrighouse, as I mentioned, has shown the capacity to go to that dark place and to not be afraid to hurt. And just like we saw in the first match, I'm expecting quite a bit of a showdown here. Yeah, about 30 seconds left in the first interval. Malachi, 1 or 2 reps to go there on the double unders, had to get back, make sure to finish up that part of the sequence, allowing Ryley to get to the squat cleans first. Overall today we have 6 male athletes competing. Ryley's the only one of them under 6 feet tall. The only place to really have a big advantage in that regard is on that squat clean range of motion, and he does get to the muscle ups first, and it looks like he's going to get a 1 rep edge here in round number 1. On the first matchup between Lee and Alex, we saw them finish the 6 squat cleans in the first interval, but not get any bar muscle ups. Malachi able to get 1, Ryley able to get 2 there, and therefore show a little bit of that level up of fitness. It's kind of how we're, these are the undercards still, but these guys have a little bit more competition experience, a little bit better performances in, open, quarterfinals, and some of the events that we've mentioned than the previous match. However, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, the only thing that needs to happen here is beat your opponent. It's not a for time workout. It's not a for reps workout. It's a reps ahead. And it's a unique style, as you heard Alex talk about. He never done something quite like this before, hopes to do it again. 10 seconds to go, round number 2. Ryley choosing to use the bench there and rest the legs from the start. I kind of like that. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Round number 2 underway. Malachi Bennett on the left, Ryley Humrighouse on the right. Ryley managed to eke out a 1 rep advantage in the first round. If you were here for the first match, you saw that it was pretty close for a while, and then there was the opportunity, and Alex Richard took advantage of it. These guys got a chance to watch that. They're warming up behind me, and they have a view of the competition floor, so they very much know what they're getting in for here. And this is probably my favorite part of the way that this is set up. It was the same when James Sprague took on Tyler Eggeman last October in Liberty Lake, Washington. On the barbell, the athletes are facing each other. And it really just amplifies that feel of the one-on-one setting that Reps Ahead is.
These guys know each other well, so this is going to be a battle.
I mentioned Malachi comes out of Casper, Wyoming. Ryley lives in Colorado. They have done some competitions locally against each other out there. They certainly know each other well. They were talking about the West Regional and the men's side in general, and what quarterfinals looks like for them, chances to make semifinals. They have a pretty good feel for athletes out in that part of the country, including each other. 50 seconds to go. Getting off that first round of muscle-ups together, back on the jump rope. with the 1 rep advantage that Ryley had after the first interval. He'll have the same here after they finish these 36 double unders, and we'll see whether either of them are able to get back to the muscle-ups in this round or not. 33 seconds to go. Both men now done with the double unders in the second round of the sequence here in round number 2. Rep for rep on the squat cleans to start. Neither of them has broken them yet. So we got the chance to Alex Richard really quickly, and he said that there was a calculation there. He didn't feel like it was worth it to hold on in the long run. Malachi about a half rep faster there, and a lot of urgency, different sense of urgency getting to the bar there. And 5 seconds to go. Both of them working on the bar. That's 2 muscle ups. And both men are going to do more work in round 2 than they did in round number 1. The same amount of work in this round, however, and therefore Ryley will hold on to that 1 rep lead that he had from the first round. Ryley immediately taking a seat on the bench. Malachi staying on his feet, getting a little chalk on his hand in a resting position there. If you guys were not with us at the start, this is the second of 4 matches that we have today. Each match has a maximum of 7 rounds that it can go. The goal is to get 40 reps ahead of your opponent. Sure, we're our first matchup. They finished up a few minutes ago. Malachi Bennett, 1 rep in the hole relative to Ryley Humrighouse with 2 rounds down. Little sip of water as we approach the 10-second mark in the rest interval. 2 minutes on, 1 minute off is the format that the athletes will be following for all the matches today. 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Round number 3, Bennett versus Humrighouse. 36 double unders, 6 hang squat cleans, 165 pounds for the men, 6 bar muscle ups.
See if we can do that again here in this round. See if somebody can create some separation here.
Nothing necessarily wrong with Bennett's double unders, but Humrighouse in an incredibly efficient position there with the arms nearly extended, just that slight bend of the elbows and the wrists close to the body, spinning the wrists, not really anything else moving. Does allow him to get 1 or 2 reps, even against Bennett, in only 36 reps at a time. And as this workout wears on, we saw it with Alex Richard. If you can get to that double under rope at the end of an interval ahead of your opponent, that's where the opportunity to close the door is. Minute and 10 seconds remain in this interval. Both men on the bar for the bar muscle ups. Only difference between them came in round number 1. They're almost doing synchro muscle ups here.
Now, here for these guys. They got to push now. This is where it's getting tough. That volume is starting to stack up. Let's see if they can hang on to it.
Both men moving with purpose, getting to the double under. Neither one of them gaining any advantage there on the transition, even though they both showed the intent and desire to. 45 seconds to go, and the first mistake from Humrighouse comes on the double unders here in round number 3. And now you see how quickly that number can escalate if you have the advantage on the double unders. With 30 seconds to go, however, Ryley will catch up, and you see the +1 because of that rep he gained in round 1. But Bennett with a 1 rep lead on the squat cleans here, bouncing off the hips and going straight into this set of 6. And he's going to be looking to basically get hopefully 1 muscle up ahead of Humrighouse in this round to close the gap. There is that 1 rep, so they're now dead tied with 5 seconds to go.
3, 2,
And that no rep for Humrighouse on the end. I'm not sure if yeah, zeros is what I thought. So 3 rounds in, zeros on the board. Basically the same scenario we saw for Pinkham and Richard. And we got Alexis, Raptis, and Saghafi coming up in match 3. Dallin Pepper and James Sprague coming up in match number 4. Those athletes are all able to see what's going on here, and they see that those margins for error are small.
30 seconds left. 30 seconds.
So Ryley, with a mistake on the double unders in that round, allowed Bennett to regain that 1 rep lead that Humrighouse had opened in the first round. In all 3 intervals so far, both of these men have gotten back to the muscle-ups in the second round of the sequence. Neither of them have been able to finish that set of 6, however. 10 seconds to go. Starting round number 4, maximum of 7 rounds. First match went 6, and it was in a very similar place after 3. Dead tie here, starting round number 4 for Bennett and Humrighouse.
These heart rates are getting up. These guys are feeling it now.
Both men with a good relaxed facial expressions here. Humrighouse with another mistake on the jump route.
All right, Miles, back to that barbell. He's looking smooth. He's got quick transitions. See if he can hang on.
That's going to allow Bennett to open up that 1 rep lead on the barbell. Neither man has broken on these yet. And Bennett back to the pull-up bar first. He jumps up. He'll have about a half rep lead over Humrighouse. We got 1:05 to go in round number 4 here.
60 seconds, athletes, 60 seconds.
And then Bennett, 1 rep. Let's see if he can get any double unders ahead here. No, he's got his rope caught under his heels, but Humrighouse also makes a mistake. And so this is just the product of the fatigue that's setting in, the volume of these movements, the intensity of the match accumulating, and both of them making a mistake there at the beginning of the jump ropes. Bennett ultimately able to get it going ahead of Humrighouse, so he'll get to that barbell a rep ahead of him probably. 30 seconds to go in this interval. Both men done. 20 seconds to go. 1 rep lead for Bennett. Judge cueing the elbows there for Humrighouse. 6 done for Bennett, 6 done for Humrighouse. Humrighouse on the jog, knowing that he's going to be a rep behind her. 2, 1. 1 each. And no separation through 4 rounds for Bennett and Humrighouse. And both of them assuming the resting position that seems to be their preference. Humrighouse on the bench. Bennett hunched over, elbows on the knees. 40 seconds in the rest interval here. 30 seconds to go, starting the 5th interval here. Ryley Humrighouse making a joke, I guess, with his judge. I'm not sure what he said.
This is round number 5. You got 5, 6, 7.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Humrighouse still on the bench, getting a little bit of chalk. 5 seconds.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Round 5 underway. No margin between these two athletes yet.
They got to get those 40 reps in. They don't know when it's going to happen. They have to make a decision to push and try to hang on to it.
Through the first 4 rounds, each of them has managed to get at least 1 bar muscle up in the second round of the sequence in each of the 4 rounds. Neither of them has managed to finish that set of 6, however. You start to think about the capacity, caliber of the athletes coming up. You wonder if they will be able to get through that second round and get back to the 3rd set of double unders, which we know can be the make or break. As is, they're still tied here through the double unders and the hang squat cleans in the first round of the sequence here in round number 5 of 7. Bennett about a half rep ahead on the muscle ups there. 1 minute in, they finish that first round. Both will head to the jump rope. This is where they each made a mistake in the middle of the last round. Bennett not doing that this time. Neither is Humrighouse. Both are set to work here on the second set of 36 double unders in round 5. Both men set the ropes down at the same time. 30 seconds to go in this interval. This is just how bad do you want it. Humrighouse gets the barbell off the floor first, and he has 1 rep done while Bennett is kind of resting there in the hang position. This is what I know about Ryley Humrighouse, is that he does not back away from the pain. 10 seconds to go. He's turning to the rig. Bennett now done as well. And I'm not sure if Bennett's going to give any muscle-ups to go, and Humrighouse will take the opportunity, locks it out, gets 2 reps on the muscle-ups. This is the first round that Bennett has not gotten to the bar for the muscle-ups, and Humrighouse immediately on the bench with a 2-rep lead. Now, if it ends up going 7 rounds, then it is just whoever's done more cumulative reps. So if for example, this had been the end of round 7, Humrighouse would take the win by 2 reps. As it is, there's 2 reps to go. Round 6 is where the big separation occurred in our first match between Lee Pinkham and Alex Richard.
30 seconds, athletes. 30 seconds.
Malachi Bennett is going to have to dig here. Just a little hesitation getting to that barbell in the second round of that interval allowed Humrighouse to take advantage. 15 seconds to go here. Both men applying a little bit of chalk. 10 seconds. Humrighouse off the bench. Same routine as we've seen every rest interval from him.
5 seconds. We're heading round number 6. 3, 2,
1. And round 6. Bennett coming into it with a 2-rep deficit relative to Humrighouse. This is the gut check round for the athletes. And a mistake there for Bennett. Mistake for Humrighouse. Really, double unders is a routine movement for these guys, but just the total volume of the work that they're doing can cause those types of mistakes. 30 seconds into the interval, Humrighouse 1-rep lead here on the hang squat cleans in this round. So have about a 2.5 or 3-rep lead. Once they get off the bar, it will be back at 2. Let's see if there's any hesitation getting up onto the pull-up bar here. Not for Ryley, and Bennett, I think, wanted to, but seeing Ryley jump up there, decides he has to go for it. So both men back on the pull-up bar. We haven't seen any athletes break on the muscle-ups yet. And let's see how quick Humrighouse is able to get to this jump rope relative to Bennett. This is where he could potentially extend the margin. And he does get about 3 reps ahead of him here. But really it's going to come down to any mistakes on the jump ropes that will allow for a big opening in terms of separation on the leaderboard or the scoreboard there.
About 30 seconds left. 30 seconds.
Humrighouse done with his double unders. Bennett, no mistakes, so it remains at 2, 20 seconds to go. Humrighouse did show the capacity to pick this barbell up faster in the last round, and he does so once again, making that 2-rep lead into a 4-rep lead. 10 seconds to go. Not sure anyone's going to get to the muscle-ups here, so if Humrighouse is able to finish these, Bennett drops at 3. Humrighouse does finish them, so that 2-rep lead becomes a 5-rep lead, and now for Humrighouse, knowing that they're going into the final round, he doesn't have to get 40 reps ahead. The strategy changes. He just has to stay ahead by 1 rep in order to get the win. Malachi Bennett, on the other hand, knows that if he wants to win this match, he has to make up those 5 reps somehow, some way. 35 seconds left in the final rest interval. 2 minutes of work remain for Bennett and Humrighouse. Humrighouse with a 5-rep advantage. Because it's gone the distance, 40 reps ahead will end the match, even if it's in the middle of a round. However, if it goes the full 2 minutes, then it's whoever's got the green number in their favor. Bennett glancing over at Humrighouse, seeing if there's any sign of weakness here. 10 seconds. Final round coming up for our second of 4 matches at Reps Ahead Pro 2. 3 seconds.
2, 1, go.
Final interval for Bennett and Humrighouse. Both men quick to the draw on the double unders once again. 5-rep advantage for Humrighouse. All he has to do is hold on to at least a 1-rep advantage, but he trips on the double unders. Oh, man. Now, by the time they finish the double unders, that number should tick back up in his favor. However, this is the hope that Bennett needs. And he does not hesitate getting to the bar here. And Malachi Bennett is going to have to sell his soul in the final round of a brutal head-to-head interval-style matchup here. Urgency with the barbell, the fastest squat cleans we've really seen from him yet. Up on the pull-up bar fast, and he's going to have a 2-rep lead in terms of this set of 4 relative to Humrighouse. Now, all Humrighouse has to do is get 1, maintain that 1-rep lead, but it's already been cut in more than half. Bennett off the bar at the 58-second mark, 1:02 remaining. Bennett cannot afford a mistake here. Neither can Humrighouse. Now, Malachi does have that lead, but when they get off the double unders in this round, Ryley will have that 5-rep lead that he came in with. So not only does Bennett need to get to that barbell first, he needs to pick it up fast and get 5 reps ahead of him. A chip for Humrighouse gives Bennett the opportunity that he might need another mistake for Humrighouse. Bennett on the barbell, and while he paused getting to it in the last 2 rounds, he has not paused here. That's 5 and now 6, and he should have the 1-rep lead. And he's running to the barbell, and is he going to be able to erase the deficit as Humrighouse is working on his set of squat cleans? Bennett on the pull-up bar. The numbers are at zeros. The transition could be the difference here. 10 seconds to go. The first chicken wing on a muscle-up. And Bennett's off the barbell. 2 reps for Humrighouse. Bennett needs these. My goodness. And I think it's going to be 2 reps for Ryley Humrighouse, taking match 2 relative to Malachi Bennett. Bennett did everything you could possibly ask from an athlete. He went to the point of failure. We had not seen an athlete miss on a bar muscle up yet. He had to come off the rig. That ended up being the difference for Humrighouse, who's going to take the match. You see them both just completely spent there on the floor. An unparalleled level of intensity, and both of these athletes are living up to the reputation. Absolutely. The ferociousness of Bennett that we have seen in these matches before on full display in the final round, and Humrighouse just willing to push to that dark place in the middle rounds, giving him the advantage that he needed in the last round to maintain, and he ends up taking a 2-rep lead from Bennett. Ooh, with that one going the distance, we will not have much time between the end of that one and the start of our 3rd match. We'll get those barbells off the floor. We're going to roll in the 110-pound bars for the only female match that we have today. We're shifting from the 2 undercards to our 2 featured matchups. And I mean, my heart rate is high from watching that. That was an epic showdown between Malachi Bennett and Ryley Humrighouse, with Humrighouse ultimately taking it. You see the progression of reps so close throughout. The 5 reps that he had at the end of round 6 were cut almost more than in half, but ultimately he's able to hold on and takes the win in his first go at a reps ahead format here. Malachi Bennett will have to accept the loss, but absolutely not for a lack of trying and want. The ladies will be taking the floor next. Excuse me, it's a lot of talking. Just a quick drink of water. Saghafi and Alexis Raptis are going to be on tap here. Alexis Raptis coming off of back-to-back consecutive top 10 finishes at the CrossFit Games. 6th place last year. Saghafi making the games in 2023 for her 2nd time in her career. Also doing so in 2019. They are good friends. They trained together yesterday, and it was almost like watching sisters hanging out, warming up, joking with each other. They've been talking. They did come on a podcast with us and talk about this. They kind of joked about going the distance and just kind of see what happened around 7 with what we've seen so far. I mean, that might just happen anyway. I'm not sure. But you get to see kind of the bio for the ladies there. They're going to take on the same sequence. The only change will be on the barbell. So we'll start with the jump rope, hit the hang squat cleans at 110 pounds. They got a riser out there for the bar muscle ups for them. And if you're just joining us, this is the Reps Ahead Pro 2 Showcase. The first Pro Showcase was last October in Washington. There were 8 iterations of Reps Ahead prior to that. Not necessarily with professional athletes of the caliber of these athletes that we're about to see in the next 2 matches, but those were very much done as proving grounds, testing grounds. An opportunity for the director of Reps Ahead, Phil Thomas, to observe, tweak, refine, and try again. And eventually he got to the point where he was comfortable with what his expression was in terms of the format of these workouts, opened it up to a pro division, and now he's expanded that to have multiple cards of professional athletes here featured in a Reps Ahead format. I believe this is the first Reps Ahead Pro matchup for 2 women with CrossFit Games level experience. The ladies just checking to make sure they got the correct height for the risers there. Pull-up bars, with 5 of the 6 guys in the field being over 6 feet tall, are pretty high. But obviously these women have competed in competition a lot. They're actually just having a little conversation with each other there prior to the match. Would have been fun to have a microphone on there to see what the final words between the two were before going into it. Fee with a smile on her face, per usual. Alexis, game face on. 10 seconds to go. Main card number 1. Fee Saghafi on the left, Alexis Raptis on the right. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. 36 double unders, 6 hang squat cleans, 110 pounds, 6 bar muscle ups, 2 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest, 7 rounds available if needed. First match that we had today went 6 rounds. Second match went the distance. Let's see what the ladies have in store for us here in match number 3.
All right, they're going rep for rep. Alexis is first off the jump rope to the barbell.
Raptis a rep or 2 faster than Fee there on the first round of double unders. Calculated break for both women. Talked about the grip briefly in the first round, and we did have Alex Richard join us in the booth, and he mentioned that taking that calculated break of 4 and 2 on the hang squat cleans was part of his plan in the middle rounds. Both of the girls choosing to do so here from the start. We saw Humrighouse and Bennett hang on to those squat cleans for the most part in their matchup. 1 minute down, 1 round of the sequence done, and both women pick up the jump rope and get to work at exactly the same time here in round number 1. Not necessarily a surprise at this point. We've seen through the first 3 or 4 rounds of the early matches that there was little room for separation, and it was really in rounds 5, 6, and 7 with fatigue setting in that the athletes started to pull away from one another. The overall capacity of athletes of this caliber, though, is on a different level than most of us can understand. They do interval style training all the time. These movements all very routine for them. We'll see whether that level of fatigue and some of the little execution errors end up playing a factor for the games athletes the way they did for our undercards. Both women opting for the 4-2 once again and heading back to the pull-up bar. At the 10-second mark, Raptis gets her hands on the bar, slightly ahead of Saghafi. 5 seconds to go. We'll see whether that will yield a 1-rep advantage or not, and I think it will. Maybe not. Fee's cycle rate seemed to be about half a rep faster. So through 1 round, 0s on the board for Saghafi and Raptis. Both women heading to their benches, taking a seat. We haven't seen this from either of the previous matches, with at least one of the athletes choosing to kind of stay standing during this rest interval. But when they do both take a seat like this, they don't have to look at each other, but they're facing each other. And you kind of get that feel of being in the ring, which is what Phil calls the arena. He's got it roped off here. Spectators surrounding. 15 seconds to go. Round number 2 coming up. Both women back on their feet and ready to go.
All right, 5 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
And go.
Round 2 underway. Saghafi quicker with the rope there. That's why you see that +1 in her corner. Both women super efficient in terms of position and cycle rate on the double under. Despite Fee kind of getting 1 rep faster to start the jump rope, Alexis slightly faster off the rope. Fee Saghafi coming into this match off of another impressive open performance for her. 18th place worldwide, 4th place on 24.1, 14th place on 24.3, 136th on 24.2. The second and third workout of the open having some elements that translate to this sequence, the double under efficiency for the top athletes in the sport being a critical factor of 24.2, and obviously also potentially being the deciding factor in these matches. The barbell cycling and gymnastics pulling on the bar muscle up, reminiscent of 24.3. One rep advantage here for Raptis with 30 seconds to go. Both women choosing to break for 4 and 2.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Fees break between those reps extremely fast. Almost guiding the bar down and getting her hands on it before, or just as it settles. Raptis back on the pull-up bar, slightly ahead of Fee. And she is, I think, this time going to be able to get one. I think she got 4 reps to Fee's 3. So for the first time, we do see some separation there. Alexis Raptis taking the 1 rep lead. As we mentioned, Raptis coming off 2 consecutive top 10 finishes at the CrossFit Games. 6th place last year, 10th the year before. She took most of the off-season, well, she took all the off-season off. She was just kind of figuring out with her team what to do in terms of the colitis health condition that she was dealing with, learning about. But she looked great in training yesterday. She looks great here today. She was very open talking to us about it. Just basically trying to set up for a really successful game season. Obviously trying to, replicate or improve upon the performance that she had from last year. Clarification on the scoring there. They did have the same number of reps in that round, apparently. So coming into the 3rd round, still no margin for error between these 2 ladies. Mistake there at 20 reps on the double unders for Raptis. We have seen that in some of the other matches, that an occasional execution error on the jump rope in the later rounds can play a factor. Getting to the barbell, however. They're going to be leaving the barbell at the same time once again. 40 seconds to get through the 36 double unders and the hang squat cleans here in round number 3. Up on the pull-up bar at the same time. Nearly synchro muscle-ups here. Fee cycle rate now being a little bit faster on that muscle-up. Basically, she goes into the arch position at the bottom of the muscle-up to a less degree than Raptis does, is where she's able to gain a little bit of an edge there. But getting off of the pull-up bar, Raptis slightly faster, picking up the jump rope. It's pretty much still nothing between them in the middle of round number 3 here. Raptis with some urgency getting to the barbell at the 30-second mark, remaining in this interval, gets that 1 rep edge. We'll see if she's able to maintain it. She's been flirting with having a 1 rep advantage in each of the first 2 rounds, and Fee's been able to get to the pull-up bar and take advantage of that cycle rate on the bar muscle-ups to prevent that from happening. Four reps credited to Raptis from the judge there. So she will, in this case, have the 1 rep advantage over Fee. Neither of them have been able to complete full 2 rounds of the sequence yet. We haven't seen anybody able to do that, but getting to that second set of bar muscle-ups has been the story so far. See some of the impressive performances from Fee Saghafi there as far as the off-season is concerned. We saw her down in Miami at Wadapalooza. She took 18th place. Currently with a 1 rep deficit relative to Raptis. 15 seconds to go in the rest interval. Getting ready to start round 4. 7 maximum rounds available. And just because it's close now doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. We saw that happen in our first match earlier today. And the ladies are off round number 4. Fee Saghafi in her home gym here at CrossFit Tailwinds. We've seen some one-on-one matchups through the open announcements, through the Taylor Self versus the World program, and here obviously with the reps ahead. And in many cases, the home field advantage is a real thing. Still, both women are going with that 4-2 strategy on the barbell. Jumping up for the pull-up bar at the same time, getting that first rep together, but you see Fee about a quarter of a rep faster in her cycle rate. And now she's got about a half rep lead over Raptis, so she'll come off the bar slightly before her. And once again, 1 minute in, 1 round done. 4 rounds in, they've hardly yielded at all in terms of the pace that they're on. The only mistake we've seen so far has been from Raptis in one of the rounds of double unders. Despite that, she comes into this round with a 1 rep advantage over Saghafi.
40 seconds, athletes, 40 seconds.
Both women smooth on that set of double unders, but Raptis quick to the draw on the pull on the barbell this time.
25 seconds, athletes, 25 seconds. You're going rep for rep still.
Fee slightly slower picking up the bar there than she had been in the previous intervals. Doesn't end up costing her relative to Raptis. Raptis up on the pull-up bar ahead. 10 seconds to go. See if she can extend that lead or not. And once again, Raptis gets 4 to Saghafi's 3 on the muscle up, so the lead grows from 1 rep to 2 reps. No hesitation from either athlete as they head to the benches and sit down right away.
They know what that feels like. We'll see who can separate here. 1 or 2 reps per round makes a big difference.
Heart rate's definitely escalating. This is the first round that Fee's famous smile has not been immediately evident early in the rest interval. 30 seconds to rest here. She is starting to smile a bit now. Small sip of water for Raptis. Fee probably going to do the same. Usually in a format like this, you don't want to drink too much water, but just a little bit to
15 seconds before you head
try, to get rid of that dryness in the mouth can be helpful if you do have a rest interval built in. 10 seconds until we start round number 5.
3, 2, 1, and go.
4 rounds in, 2 rep lead for Raptis.
Here's those athletes.
No deviation in terms of technique or speed on the double unders here in round 5 for either of these women. Both set the ropes down at the same time. Alexis again picks the barbell up just slightly faster than Fee. And as close as it is, you can still see the sense of urgency in the way that the women are moving, particularly in the transitions. Fee super fast there, picking the barbell up between that slight break that both women are taking, and that allows her to mitigate the advantage that Raptis had gained on the transition from the jump rope to the barbell. Both women once again on the pull-up bar at the same time, and the story is repeating itself. Ooh, a little slip in terms of grip there for Fee. Able to recover from it. They drop down at the same time. 1 minute, 1 second that time, so they slowed down by 1 second relative to the past couple rounds. No hesitation picking up the jump rope again. It's these transitions, the next 2 transitions, where Raptis has been able to gain that 1 rep advantage in each of the last 2 rounds. From the jump rope to the barbell and the barbell to the pull-up bar. Finishes her double unders about 1 rep ahead, picks up the bar without hesitating, establishes the hang position and goes immediately into that first hang squat clean. Still 4-2 is the option that the women are choosing. I wonder if at any point either one of them will abandon that as an opportunity to create some separation. 10 seconds to go. Once again, Raptis jumping up to the pull-up bar first, and she'll get another rep advantage on Fees there. She's able to do 1 more rep here. Then once again, that advantage will grow by 1 rep. So heading into the final 2 rounds, Raptis now has a 3 rep lead over Fee Saghafi. Just glancing at the body language here during the rest intervals, it looks very similar to what we saw in the last round. Alexis grabbing a towel and just dabbing some sweat off of her face. Saghafi chalking up a little bit. Both women kind of in that resting position.
Good job, athletes. We got about 30 seconds before you head into round number 6.
Taking some meaningful and purposeful breaths, it looks like. Sip of water for both. 25 seconds to go. Round 6 of a maximum of 7 rounds coming up. 15-second mark, both women off their feet. Putting their jump ropes in the position they want them to be in.
5 seconds here.
3, 2, 1. Round 6. Saghafi and Raptis. Raptis comes in with a 3-rep lead. She's been able to gain 1 rep per round in each of the previous 3 rounds. If this match ends up going 7 rounds, the 40 designated reps ahead that are required to win no longer will exist as in isolation. Otherwise, it'll just be whoever has the most reps completed throughout the entirety of the 7 rounds when the 7th round ends. In the meantime, here we are in round number 6, and still the women are choosing to go for that 4-2 rep combo on the hang squat cleans. We saw Alex Richard do that in round matchup number 1 earlier today.
Forearms are burning. Just gotta hang on.
And Raptis finishing the first round in 58 seconds this time. Fee in 59 seconds, so a little bit faster in round 6 than they were in round number 5. Once again, picking up the jump rope as fast as they can and getting into this second set of 36 double unders in this round. Between the two of them, only 1 mistake on the jump rope so far came from Raptis, I believe, in round number 3. Didn't end up costing her at all. Raptis off the rope quickly. Fee with 2 reps to go. A trip and now another trip. Executions there at the end of round number 6 for Saghafi. Raptis still opting for 4 and 2. 20 seconds to go in the interval. Raptis done. 3 fingers up, and Fee is going to hang on this time, knowing that she made that mistake. Needs to find a way to get it back. 10 seconds to go. Raptis already up on the muscle-ups. Fee rushing over there, but Raptis is going to extend the lead that she had coming into this round, going into the final round. And we'll let the scoring catch up, but I believe the lead heading into round 7 is going to be 6 for Raptis, basically coming on the back of those mistakes on the jump rope for Fee Saghafi. Now, same scenario we saw for the men in the previous match. Humrighouse had a 5-rep lead entering the last round, and Bennett decided that it was go for broke time. Seeing Fee do those last 6 hang squat cleans unbroken, you have to think that she's going to do that. However, Raptis could potentially be expecting that and do the same thing. 20 seconds to go until the final round, round number 7 for Fee Saghafi versus Alexis Raptis here. First of our 2 main card matchups at Reps Ahead Pro 2 Showcase. 10 seconds to go. Raptis just needs to maintain a lead. Any number of reps will do at this point. If she happens to get 40 reps ahead, she'll take the match at that second. But in the case that does not happen, and whoever ends this 2-round interval with the green number in their corner will end up taking down the match. Let's see if either of the women choose to break on the barbell here. The answer is going to be no for Raptis and no for Saghafi. So for the first time in the match, Raptis does all 6 unbroken. And for the second time in the match, Saghafi does the same. Both women now up on the pull-up bar. 6-bar muscle-ups to go here. And as the rounds wear on, the women are getting faster. They're both off the pull-up bar at the 55-second mark. Round 6 was 58 or 59 seconds. The round before that was 1:01 second. And this is obviously the final round, so you got nothing that you're saving for at this point, so it makes sense that you're going to push the pedal, just having the capacity to do so. It's what's impressive. 45 seconds. And Fee needs Alexis to make a mistake here. Alexis looking like she's unlikely to do so. Approaching 30 seconds remaining in the interval. It's a 6 or 7 rep lead for Raptis. She came into this round with that 6 rep advantage. Both women unbroken on the barbell. Again, Fee jogging to the pull-up bar for the first time. 20 seconds to go. She may be able to reduce the margin, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. She has to finish the muscle-ups and get some double unders in for that to happen, and not have Raptis do the same thing. Less than 10 seconds to go. And so for the first time, the women are both going to finish the muscle-ups, and Fee's going to try for it. 2, 1. Oh, my God. We got to let the scoring adjust there. Oh, my goodness. Saghafi is able to eat into the deficit. It was at 6. It's going to be 4, and so for the second time in 3 matches, 2 reps is going to be the difference across 7 rounds here. And I guess 3. They're showing 3 now on the scoreboard. Either way, Alexis Raptis is going to take the match.
This will be our final match in our main card for Raptis.
So Alexis Raptis is going to take it down.
All right, let's hear it one more time for B. Saghafi and Alexis. We're building up. I think we're still going to be on after this.
Alexis Raptis taking the victory there. I think they adjusted it ultimately to 3 reps, but either way, Alexis Raptis is going to take it down. And I'm going to be joined here in the booth with Matt Torres, head coach of Brute Strength, coaches Fee Saghafi and Dallin Pepper and James Sprague, who we're going to see coming up in a few minutes. Matt, you've never seen this format before. Now you've had a chance to watch 3 matches of it. What are your kind of thoughts, with all the experience that you've seen of CrossFit competitions of this kind of new format?
I think the format's actually really fun. You can see as we get closer to round 6 and round 7, the energy inside here starts to pick up. I mean, you just saw, just looking at the round 7 of these girls going, their energy started to pick up. But they know, these athletes, the last 2 that just went, these 2 that are about to go, they know that it's going to be a consistent pace for 6 rounds. And then on round 7, now they're trying to beat each other.
Obviously, you coach both James and Dallin. Was there any element of coaching prior to this, or are you just kind of letting these guys do their thing?
Exactly. I let them do their thing, honestly. And I try to do that as often as possible, especially when we're doing any sort of qualifiers or semifinal or games events, is I want to hear what they're thinking. And then if I hear a place where I can come in there and, give my advice, it allows them to learn on their own. And then I'm just basically there for support. So what we're going to see right now are, these 2 guys are going to try to just stick with each other for 6 rounds. And then on round 7, you'll see the intensity turn up a little bit. But what's actually really cool to notice, if you guys have been watching, from the first 2 that went, the second grouping, the women, you can see how much in control they are. Like, they probably could have gone for another 3 or 4 rounds and looked exactly the same, right? And hit the same splits on the squat cleans, took transition times the same way on the jump ropes, went unbroken on the bar muscle ups. They could have done that for a long time. For athletes at this level, it's like they're almost like, okay, I'm bored. Can we just either just try on 1 round and just call it, or are we just gonna have to keep going?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've been watching, you saw the difference kind of in the caliber of athletes, and the guys in the undercard are super fit dudes. But we're talking about some of the best in the world here, and we're going to see something very similar here with Dallin and James. They are now on the floor, shirts are off, and I think we're about to start. 10 seconds to the start of this match.
So the thing to watch here is the double under speed and how they're going to split up the bar and what their reps look like on the bar muscle up.
In terms of double under speed, obviously we saw the 24.2, where for the top athletes that was a factor. With so many double unders in the workout and over 20-minute period of time. Dallin had second best score in the world. You got to watch that live. James had a pretty good score himself, but would you say that Dallin has an advantage over James on the jump rope?
Yeah, and that's actually one of the biggest things that separated Dallin on 24.2 is he understood, his jump rope speed is very, very quick, and we're going to see a great example of it. And honestly, that's what this sport is coming to, is you have to be really, really good at the small things, like, double unders. It's like, if I just go unbroken here, it's like, well, you're noticing the difference of speed between two athletes right now. Like, if you go pick up Dallin's jump rope, it feels like a feather. Like, you can't feel the rope going around your body, right? And then if you feel James's rope a little bit longer, right, he's comfortable with it, but you can actually feel the rope passing around you.
And at the top end of the sport, Matt Torres is one of the best coaches that we have, so these little details absolutely matter. We got about 40 seconds to go in the interval here. James did make a mistake in the first set of double unders, which was not expected, and that's what's allowed Dallin Pepper to open up a little bit of a lead here. Judge telling him to get lower. It seems like good squat depth to me. About 20 seconds to go in the first interval here. Dallin's going to get back to the muscle-ups. James about 3 reps behind, pretty much on the back of the mistake on that double unders in the first round. With 10 seconds to go, James hopefully will be able to get up there for 1 or 2 reps here.
3, 2, 1.
And Dallin's going to come 1 rep short of finishing the second round of that sequence in the first round of the match. Matt, I've noticed as I've been watching here, some of the athletes immediately head to that bench to sit down. Others kind of staying on their feet. If you were going to advise any of the athletes to do during this rest interval, what would you suggest?
Oh, I would sit down always. Get that heart rate down as much as you can. You can see them just conversating with one another and just enjoying this time with each other, because they don't get to train with each other a lot. But yeah, really, and anything on a, obviously group class is a much different setting, but if you have the opportunity to sit down, rest in between, do that.
James getting up, and you guys know how James Sprague is. He's always going to keep it lighthearted no matter what, even apparently in the heat of battle, making a joke to Dallin there. But Dallin looks like he's got his game face on to me.
Yeah, and that's pretty common. It's the way two athletes face anxiety. Because even though this is fun for them, trying to put on a show in front of a group of people, it can give them a little bit of anxiety. Obviously, nothing as serious as competing in a qualifier or semis or CrossFit Games or a big time competition. But they want to do very well for the people here watching, and obviously they want to beat each other as well.
Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with the history between these two athletes, they've been competing against each other at the CrossFit Games going back till 2016, I believe. Dallin having some success in the teenage division, one of the most successful teenage athletes of all time, 3-time champion there. He did make a little bit of a mistake there on the double unders, either stopping 1 rep short or tripping on the last rep. That's allowed James to hang tight with him here in this interval, but also I'm seeing just a little bit more urgency from him on the transitions.
For sure, and then an extra thing you're going to see as well is they both agreed not to bounce their hang squat clean. So you'll see that they're taking a different approach to the hang squat clean than the women are. James has a little bruise on his thigh, so just for sportsmanship, we know how much quicker bouncing that hang squat clean is. Dallin told him that, hey, if you can't do it, then I'm not going to do it as well.
That's pretty cool to know. Just wanting to level the playing field there. James did make a little bobble there on the first double under in the second round. We're approaching 30 seconds remaining. And early on in the match here, we're seeing numbers on the scoreboard there that are bigger than we've seen in any of the previous rounds. Despite what we've seen in the early intervals, do you think there's a chance that Dallin can end this thing early?
No, I believe what Dallin will do from here is he's just going to match James. He's going to keep the same pace going from now until round 7, and then push hard in round 7.
3, 2, 1.
Dallin does get back to the pull-up bar once again and extends the lead from 4-6 here at the end of round number 2. James opting to head straight to the bench and get a little bit of extra rest here at the end of round 2 rather than go to the pull-up bar. Dallin does seem to be in a pretty good spirits over there, checking in with his judge. He's got a smile on his face.
Yeah, I mean, they're best friends, and this is fun for them. Of course, they're highly competitive, and if you guys have ever seen them training around each other, they want to be beating each other all the time. Even if it's like a strength of James's, Dallin wants to be beating James in his strength because, for any athlete that's in this type of sport, if you can beat an athlete that is a strength of theirs, it's a big, it's a great feeling for you, but it's a big crush of motivation for the opposite athlete. So they go at it all the time.
Athletes underway here in round number 3. Again, if you weren't with us earlier today, the sequence is 36 double unders, 6 hang squat cleans, 6 bar muscle ups. This is the 4th match that we've had. Each match has been extremely exciting and compelling, almost all of them going down to the wire. So make sure to go back and check those out if you haven't. James Sprague on the left, Dallin Pepper on the match. This is the main card match number 2. They're in round 3 of a maximum of 7 rounds. We're anticipating 7 rounds based on the insights from Matt Torres, but also what we've seen so far today. And for the first time, Dallin taking a break on the barbell. We saw the girls do that every round, well, up until the end, basically.
Yeah, and it's kind of what I was saying before is it's not important for him at this point to hold on to that barbell because that's not where he's going to gain a lot of time. But by holding on to that barbell, it will affect him more on the bar muscle up. He'll be a little bit more tired getting into the next round. And so it's a very simple break, and it will pay off to allow you to be more sustainable of your energy throughout the majority of this competition.
Obviously, for most of us, we look at this workout and we can't ignore the fact that there's a grip element of it. You're holding on to something at all 3 stations. With the 2 minute on, 1 minute off, and just knowing the capacity that these athletes have, do you think that the grip is a consideration for them at all?
For sure. It's not going to be grippy like a 24.3 will feel, but it's definitely something that they're thinking about and considering because, both of them want to be holding on to those bar muscle up unbroken, and we saw the women do it, and they did a great job of it. I believe, like, if your hand size is just smaller, you're going to be splitting up the hang squat cleans no matter what every single time because grip will probably be more of an issue for you. And so that's part of the reason why you're seeing them split. Another big reason why you're seeing them split the hang squat clean is really just to control their energy throughout the majority of this event. 165 is not a light barbell to be squat cleaning. Even for these guys, to be moving at the pace that they're moving, they wouldn't really consider 165 light. Maybe a 145 would be light for these guys, where it wouldn't affect them for their energy and it wouldn't affect their grip. But at 165, it starts to get into that gray area where they're like, I don't know, but I'm going to take the safer route and I'm just going to split.
Yeah, and they're hitting 6 reps twice in each of the intervals. And if we're anticipating 6 to 7 rounds in every match, you're doing 12 reps at that weight, the squat clean every time. Even though they make it look easy, those reps definitely add up. As we stand, we're 4 rounds in. Dallin Pepper with a 10-rep lead over James Sprague. We got 10 seconds to go in this rep interval. In the second set of the sequence in these last 2 rounds, that number has been ticking up for Dallin. He seems to be able to get to that jump rope a little bit faster. I still don't know if it'll be enough to ever get to 40 before the final round. But if James has a mistake on the jump rope, I think there is the potential for that to happen.
Yeah, I agree. And that's like, that's the cool part of it is it's a little bit more pressure on James to not only move faster on his double unders, but also be more precise on it. Dallin could potentially clip once and still hold even throughout the double unders.
No mistakes on the double unders in this round for either of the gentlemen. Both of them get into the barbell, and this time it's James who chooses to take the break after 4 reps. Dallin choosing to do that in the last round of work. That'll give Dallin the opportunity to get up on the muscle-ups first. And let's see what he's able to do here. Dallin's muscle-ups also, he has a pretty high receiving position. Both athletes actually do. They receive pretty high. They're definitely still achieving the portion of the press out that's required in CrossFit. Is this something that you advocate for athletes to try to get good at if they want to excel in this sport?
For sure. It's going to save your arm so much more if you don't have to pass through the entirety of the dip position. Because what eventually happens, and you might not see it from these two guys, and we didn't see it from the ladies either, eventually you will have to pass through the dip because your power will it'll be less and less each time. So if you can just be a little bit more efficient, if you have the energy in your body, again, it's not an arm thing, in the body and in your pull down, your straight arm pull down for that bar muscle up, utilize it, take advantage of it. And then when you have to catch that low dip position, then you can do it.
And we're seeing Dallin there take a big break, but I think a calculated break. He's kind of looking at the time, he's looking at the reps, and he realizes that I've kind of done the job in this round is how I would probably describe it.
Exactly. And that was his goal coming to this one, is now he just maintains leads.
Despite that big break, he's able to extend that lead by 2 reps. Again, we did see in the second round of double unders that number was ticking up towards 30, getting into the upper 20s. So again, it's going to be tight.
It always looks like they're looking over here, but then I realize the scoreboard's right here, and they're just looking at that scoreboard.
Yes, for the setup here, we obviously have the camera on the scoreboard so you guys can see it at home. There's a scoreboard that's facing the arena that the athletes can see. We're basically sitting right behind that. So, and you're probably used to them maybe seeking you out in the crowd during competition. So.
Oh yeah. What's interesting is if you watch Dallin, watch how his splits are and how he watches James and how he watches the score. Because that is determining when it's time for him to pick things back up, whether he should be faster in transition, whether he should slow down in transition. He understands that he's not going to pick up a lot of reps on the hang squat clean. He's not going to pick up a lot of reps on the bar muscle ups. But if he glances over and he sees, oh, I could probably get to the double unders one more time here, he will speed up a transition for that. So he's already thinking 2 or 3 movements ahead pretty much the entirety of the time as he's working out.
And James did make a mistake on the double unders there. Right at the start, I'm not sure if Dallin will have seen that or not, but he's definitely going to notice that James is a little slow getting to the barbell, and that might be the opportunity that Dallin needs. I still don't know if he'll be able to get to 40 in this interval, but I think that number will tick above 30 at some point during this 2 minutes.
Yeah, and you know what's really cool to see from James is that he's still moving really, really fast. You know, it's sometimes it's hard to tell because we're looking at these numbers 13, 14 reps ahead. But really, James is 2 reps behind, 1 rep behind on this portion of the you know, what are we, round 4 or 5? Round 5, you know. So it's like he's really not far behind Dallin when you're looking at it. But it's like, again, it's that jump rope pace. You know, James needs to be precise here, and he needs to try to move quicker on it as well, which is really difficult to do when you're in the thick of it. You know, both of them are very fatigued, even though it doesn't look like it. And to know that you have to be moving faster than Dallin on the jump rope is also really tough as well.
I got as high as 25 reps ahead there. Obviously, the cycle speed on the double under faster, so it's back down into that range that we started this interval at. But Dallin picking up the barbell very quickly. He's got 3 and now 4 reps before James gets to the hang squat cleans, but chooses to drop the bar. I think once again, kind of executing along the game plan that he's kind of came into this with, which is do the job early and take care of business late. 10 seconds to go. Both athletes breaking on the hang squat cleans in this round. Dallin's going to get 1 muscle up here, and that'll open up an additional 1 rep lead. So 2 rounds to go, 13 rep lead. It's one of the things that's kind of cool about this, you know, in general in CrossFit, if you're watching a competition, you don't get to see every rep that every athlete does. You don't get to see every transition. You don't get to see them during rest intervals and their body language and this type of thing. I've been enjoying watching the rest intervals. While they're having fun, they're competing against their friends. You do see that, I mean, despite as easy they make it look, there is some element of fatigue setting in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You know what's interesting is James knows what Dallin's about to bring into this round, and Dallin knows what James is about to bring into this round. And this, you know, we're seeing 13. I think it'd be a really good round for James if by the next round we see 15 or less. as far as like Dallin being ahead. That's going to be a really good round because this is a major strength for Dallin. It would be like if this workout, instead of double unders, it was, let's say, running or rowing or skiing or biking, we would assume that James would probably be a little bit more comfortable and potentially move a little bit quicker. And we're just flip-flopping the conversation where Dallin's paying attention to James and understands where he's at. So that's what we're witnessing here right now is, 2 movements, hang squat clean, bar muscle up, that both of them can perform fairly well and unbroken if they needed to. But then we're seeing one movement where we see a strength for one athlete, and James, again, still really good at double unders, but not at that pace right there.
And basically on the back of that double under speed, Dallin is up on the bar muscle ups ahead of James again. He's been, as Matt Torres has expected, fairly consistent, basically in that 55 to 60 second range for each of the first rounds of the sequence. And at the 1 minute mark, he picks up the double unders. James about 5 seconds behind him here. And once again, that number is ticking into the mid to upper 20s for Dallin. 45 seconds to go in this interval. This is round 6 of 7. This is the final match of the Reps Ahead Pro 2 showcase here from CrossFit Tailwinds in Jacksonville, Florida. Dallin Pepper looking to unseat James Sprague, who came in as the defending champion from the Preps Ahead Pro 1 showcase back in October. And with 30 seconds to go in this interval, let's see if Dallin breaks on this set of squat cleans as he has in the past couple rounds. 4 reps, drops it once again, looks at the clock, pretty much exactly the same split times. I think he'll pick it up, finish 2, and maybe go for 1 extra muscle up here. James also taking a break after 4 reps. He picks it back up, and right on cue, Dallin with a little jog over to the pull-up bar. He's going to get 1 muscle up. James looks like he wants to get 1. I don't know. Ooh,
Got it?
They definitely counted Dallin's. And so, as expected there, 14 or 15 reps. So James is hanging with him. I mean, he's apart from the mistakes on the jump rope, he's basically yielded 1.5 reps per round. And when you're going against someone who's one of the best in the world in one movement, I got to think that's actually a pretty good performance so far for James.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's something that he'll definitely be proud about. These athletes, it's like they go, okay, if I didn't break once, or now he's going to walk away from this, and he's going to think to himself, I need to get better at this one movement because, we're seeing it. If his jump ropes are just faster, and it's something that he could definitely change and work on, we would see a much different story on that board. It could potentially be, +1 or 2 Dallin instead of +14. And +14 sounds like such a far out, lead, and it's really not. It's really just the double unders.
Final round, final match. James Sprague, Dallin Pepper going head-to-head. We've seen this in match number 2 and match number 3, where one athlete comes into the final round with a small margin relative to the other one. Malachi Bennett absolutely sent it and actually overtook Humrighouse, but was unable to hold on to the pull-up bar at the last interval. And that was actually the fastest set of 36 double unders that Sprague has done relative to Pepper in any of the 7 rounds.
Yeah, and you're seeing the change of pace in both of them. Also, watch their faces and just to see who's going to be giving that pain face a little bit more, because they are under a lot of discomfort and pain right now. So it'll be interesting to see who breaks first, because you better believe when they're doing their hang squat cleans, they're looking at each other, and at least in the peripheral, to get just a little bit of blood in the water, just to give them a little bit more motivation to push faster than the opponent.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier. You don't get to do very many workouts in CrossFit where you're looking your opponent straight in the eye. I mean, those bars are 5 feet apart from each other. And these guys obviously have a tremendous amount of history, and they will take a glance. You're not going to look them straight in the eye the whole time, but you'll look over and you'll see the grimace. You'll see them baring their teeth or something like that. But as expected, and as you kind of called in the first round, the intensity with which they're moving in this final round is at a different level. And for a lot of people, comprehending how you could do that and level up after 6 rounds of intensity is hard to understand.
Yeah, and you'll see, neither of them are in a big rush right now. Right now is just to prove to themselves that they can push hard, that, they want to put a show on for these fans here as well. They're not going to push just for the sake of pushing for no reason, right? for Dallin, a W is a W. It doesn't matter if he beats him by 1 rep or if he beats him by 20 reps. He's not going to put himself in the pain cave for no reason at all. So you'll see he's going to move a little bit slower. James will try to move a little bit quicker to get back or try to get back to like 13 or 14 reps.
And that'll do it for the final matchup. I've seen that handshake and hug once before, at least last year on the semifinals floor down in Orlando when James qualified for the CrossFit Games after pursuing it for several years. Dallin Pepper and James Sprague going the distance, as we saw 3 of the 4 matches do today. Ultimately, Dallin Pepper is going to take the win, 12 reps ahead of James Sprague after 7 rounds. Matt Torres, thank you for joining us in the booth and all the insights. We'll let you go hang out with your athletes and kind of decompress and reflect.
Yeah, man. Enjoy it.
You're just battling to get those reps ahead. This workout was more geared toward going the distance this time. We can vary the workout's movements. You can do any number of things with it. So thank you all for being here again. If you feel in your heart to donate to the New Cares Foundation, again, that money's all going to veterans, so I encourage you guys to donate. We have all the 11x17s with the QR code. Thank you guys for joining us and supporting the athletes, and thanks for being here.
All right, just hearing from Phil Thomas there. He's the director of Reps Ahead with all the matchups going the distance.
So let's give one more round of applause for Dallin Pepper.
We didn't get a chance to talk to too many of the athletes. We're going to get the girls in here. We're going to squeeze in nice and tight, talk to them. We're taking a look at Dallin's results there, opening up a lead early and then maintaining it at the end. But we had Matt Torres in here during that entire match, and he talked to us a little bit about what it was like from his perspective. But Fee, we'll start with you. First time doing it, home crowd here, home turf. I think you guys had some idea of what this was going to be like, but once you went out there in the ring, got a couple rounds into it, what was the feeling like just being out there and going head to head with one of your best friends?
Oh my gosh, this was so fun. I mean, I've never done an event like this, which always makes new experiences even more exciting, kind of just continuing to get different ways of a competitive experience, even though it's a small, little event, but now growing. And I mean, doing it with the girl that we've done Wadapalooza together. We've connected through the sport together. Every time we see each other, we just truly enjoy one another on top of, trading and pushing each other and just connecting as friends. And the fact that we could do this is just even more special. And I mean, having the crowd that I literally just moved to Tailwinds a couple months ago. And the fact that I could be in a space that feels like it's been family forever is just a cherry on top.
Yeah, it is a great group of people here. Got to meet the owners and see some of them training the last 2 days. Alexis obviously traveled down here from Georgia to take on Fee and to do this. Ultimately coming away with the win, but it was pretty close and pretty exciting. Did you feel confident during that you were going to end up winning, or was it kind of like you didn't know until it was over?
I didn't really know until it was over. I think I got ahead with 2 rounds left maybe, and I was feeling really good. So I was like, I think I can do it. But honestly, I don't know, because you get to the double unders and you can make up so much time there. And so didn't you get ahead on the last one? But I was ahead overall. So then I won. I don't know. Yeah. But it was fun. I thought it was better than I expected. Or it felt better than what I thought it would feel like.
I thought we were going to be hurting way earlier, where we were hurting at the very end.
Honestly, it wasn't that bad until the end.
Yeah.
I felt like I was chilling.
Yeah. We were coasting, and then we were like, oh man, now we have to really hang out.
That was 70 bar muscle ups.
I know. We were thinking, we're going to do a lot of pulling.
Yeah, but the 1 minute rest, you could almost be fully recovered.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was just enough.
I watched you guys, unlike some of the guys in the earlier matches, you both immediately sat down on the bench at the end of every interval. Small sips of water. It looked like even the recovery intervals were basically the same round to round. You knew exactly what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a routine.
Yeah.
I'd eat a little applesauce.
You did do that.
Drink some water, chalk, and then I was like, okay, take a couple deep breaths and go at 20 seconds and stand there. And then that was my routine. I just did that every time.
It literally felt like training. I just felt like we were we do so many of these similar pieces, just intervals rest. You're focusing on being consistent. You're focusing on producing kind of similar scores throughout. So just having the bench in there made me feel almost like just training, a hard training piece. Now
But we also went into it knowing we were going to do 7 rounds.
Yes.
We were like,
the
okay,
expectation.
we're doing 7 rounds. We like told each other we're going to break up until the last set for the cleans.
But Fee didn't do that.
She
deviated from the plan at the end of round 6.
I did. I held on at the 6th round, I think, because I
did you?
Well, I messed up my double unders. It was like I hit 34 double unders. I had wad brain, like total brain mush. I had like 34, I messed up, 35, drop, 36, and then I was like, man, now I have to hustle. And then she gets ahead. And then on the 6th round, I didn't think I had to hustle as much because I thought the scores reset, and the only one that mattered was the 7th. I had just like a lot of mess.
Why did you think that? Because
I literally thought that. I wasn't paying attention. Like, this is what happens when I compete sometimes. I'm just in the zone.
Yeah, no, it's good. There wasn't much thinking.
Well, I mean, whether it was, however it felt for you guys, it was super fun to watch. Thank you guys for being a part of it. I hope that everyone at home enjoyed watching you guys compete.
I know.
Well, you're not I don't think there was a Pro 1 elite female matchup. So you're kind of like the defending champion at this point, Alexis.
She is.
So that's kind of cool.
She stand on the podium, and then I also stand on the second place podium.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for doing that. Thank you for joining us, giving us a little insight.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm sure you guys have some other things to get around to later today, so we'll let you guys go take care of that. But
we'll celebrate.
Yeah. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, Saghafi and Alexis Raptis. I'm going to try to get Dallin Pepper over here. We'll talk to him before wrapping things up. But nice to hear from the women there.
What's up?
Dallin, you got the job done.
Got the job done. Just slow and steady. Not slow. Steady, and then trying to figure out. Because like I said earlier, like you can't win the workout. You got to beat the person you're going against. And so once I figured out paces and breaks that James were doing, we talked a little bit. Like there's no issue with that talking. Maybe if it was someone else, we wouldn't have said anything. But like we had an idea of what each other would do. Once I saw it in action, I was able to kind of like figure out based on time domain, his splits, what I needed to do each round to like, because I was just getting 2 to 4 bar muscle ups every time. But you also have to count the transition. So it may not have seemed like that many reps, but I knew he wouldn't be able to get to the bar if I was only getting 2. Just kind of gamed it like that.
And I think from talking to you guys prior to it, you were expecting it to go all 7 rounds.
Yeah.
When he made a few mistakes early, was there ever a point where you're like, maybe I could end this thing early?
I don't. 40 is just so many with how we saw it play out, but like where he did make a couple mistakes early, I honestly didn't expect to get any reps on the first round. I thought we were gonna be neck and neck through 3, but where I continuously picked up a few reps because of those mistakes. The goal was just to get to a point by 4 rounds that I could match him and then have a pretty big cushion going into the last one to not like absolutely destroy myself. But the mistakes did allow me to get more reps than I expected.
And when it did finally get to the last round, he actually did his fastest set of double unders in the last round. You guys both had your fastest first round split in the final round. You know, I just talked to the girls a little bit, and they said it didn't hurt as much as they expected it to early on. Was it the similar situation for you guys?
Yeah, like it got grippy. I knew it would. If you pay close enough attention, my second set of double unders each set were not significantly, but they were slower, and I could feel it just because there wasn't as much tension in my wrist because I was a little grip fatigued. But I imagine if it was like 3 on 1 off, that would have been like disgusting. Like it wasn't quite long enough because we didn't do like 2 full sets of bar muscle ups ever. Maybe the first round, I can't remember, but if it was 3 minutes and say we had 3 rounds on the barbell, that would have been nasty.
I was actually thinking similarly while watching that for athletes that have the capacity you do, you could have pushed it to 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And even if it was a couple rounds less, 5 or 6, like that might have added up more.
For sure. You could do 5-round max, 3 minute on, 1 minute off. You can throw 90 seconds, make it that 2 to 1 work. Still, there's gonna be more time for fatigue to build, and you gotta push just as hard for 3 minutes instead of for the 2. So,
well, James was the winner of Reps Ahead Pro 1 Showcase. You unseated him here. If you get the invite, is this something you'd do again?
I'll absolutely do this again, and I hope we continue to see athletes jump in on this because it is so different than what we normally do, and it's refreshing and fun, and the stakes are high. And like we've been saying, like everyone watches every single rep. You get to watch body language of both athletes. Nothing falls through the cracks. And it's something I will take advantage again if I get the invite, and I hope other athletes do as well.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on taking it down against one of your best friends.
Oh, yeah. I want the belt next time. We need a reps ahead belt.
I think that's a good idea, and I think if you mention it to Phil that he probably would follow through on that.
I'll drop a little something. So, awesome.
All right. Pro 2 Showcase winner, Dallin Pepper, thanks for joining us in the booth there. Oh, yeah, Patrick. Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Sitting in his sweat.
Patrick telling me not to sit in Dallin's sweat there. Patrick, you've watched a lot of CrossFit competitions.
One or two.
Never seen something like this live before. After watching 4 matches and doing your thing there with the cameras, 5 sidelines or whatever, what are your takeaways?
I think you probably heard it. All the athletes, they enjoyed it from an athletic standpoint. I think visually it was amazing. I was talking to Phil about that, and this is the second time he's done it on the pro level. With it being recorded, there's some tweaks he wants to do, but that's especially when it comes to the.
Was he telling you that even during the matchups?
Yes, he's telling me that during the workouts. He's like, "Hey, Pat, what do you think of this? What do you think of that?" But this is only going to get better, and when you have athletes of Dallin, Alexis, Fee, and James buying into it as well, saying they absolutely would do it, it can only get better. And I think this is something, we've talked about this in the preview show, that this can become bigger. And athletes are looking for opportunities like this. Anytime you can do something like this, like they're going to do another workout after this. They're going to, this is basically the first workout of the day of a double session.
Yeah, it's a competitive environment that doesn't interrupt their training.
No, not at all. And the way it's set up, it's like, a lot of people do interval training anyways. So, Saturday interval training essentially. But now you have a crowd around that's kind of cheering them on. Overall, I just thought it was great, and hopefully everyone that was watching enjoyed it as well. I know here everyone really enjoyed it, especially I actually thought the undercard matches were, especially that first one was very fun. You had a knockout, a TKO. Like, I compare this to UFC, and we had a TKO in the first matchup, and then it went to decision the last 3, but they're all minus the last one, pretty close. James gave up he didn't give up. He gave a hell of a fight, but it's hard to make up that many reps, especially with that the way the events were lined up. But I thought overall it was great, and hopefully everyone else enjoyed it, and we can see more of these. And and I agree with Dallin saying there needs to be a belt, maybe like a traveling belt that each one they have like a, they engrave their names on it. But so, I don't know. I think it's cool. And we talked about this before, maybe weight classes or something like that. There's so much possibility here. And I think Phil and his team and the people that provided the sponsors, they're just going to improve on this.
I think so too. Thanks, Patrick, for weighing in. Yeah. We've been live now for a couple hours. So I think that we're going to wrap it up for Reps Ahead Pro 2 Showcase. 4 matches. If you missed any of them, go back and check them out. They were all super entertaining, as Patrick said. At the end of the day, Alexis, Raptis, and Dallin Pepper are going to walk away as the Pro 2 main card champions. We'll get with Phil Thomas once again later on and see about any future iterations of this. But appreciate all the support. Thank you to Rodri and Chad, who made all of the technical production possible of this broadcast from Spain and Canada, respectively. Could not have done it without them. Thank you to Phil and Michael, who you guys saw at the beginning of this show, for making this thing come to life. This is the 10th version of it, only the 2nd pro version, and I think that we're going to see many more. So for everyone who's involved here, all the athletes, the fans, CrossFit Tailwinds, I'm Brian Friend, and appreciate you guys being with us for Reps Ahead Pro 2 Showcase from Jacksonville, Florida.
Hi, my name is Michael Mayali. I'm the president with Renovo and on the executive leadership team with the New You Cares Foundation. My team and I, alongside Reps Ahead, this exceptional group of athletes and an even more exceptional group of professionals behind the scenes bringing it all together, would like to say thank you to you for being a part of this Reps Ahead Pro event with us today. Earlier this year, we came together to collaborate in creating a platform that was both engaging and relevant and allow us to further our mission of providing free or subsidized access to nutrition, fitness, and healthcare services to veterans and members of other exceptional communities all across the United States. If you'd like to learn more about our foundation, visit www.newucares.org. And if you'd like to contribute in allowing us to provide these services to veterans, text Renovo to 801-801. That's RENOVO to 801-801. With that said, I know that we could not be more excited and grateful that we get to bring this to you today. We hope it's engaging, exciting, and that we get to see you at one of the various fundraising events that we have planned for the months to come.